guards, coming in at 11 and 6. Sophia Young, the two-time All-Star, the leading scorer, and Waters, a big addition in the middle. Erin Busher having a great year. Hammond and Helen Darling getting a start today for Vicky Johnson. More on that in a bit. And for the Mystics, the veteran, Todd McWilliams-Franklin, Crystal Langhorne, the rookie from Maryland, Monique Curry shoots it from 3. Nikki Blue, the point guard, and Elena Beard lighting it up from the field, their leading scorer. Rebecca Lobo is with us. What's on your mind, Rebecca?
Well, Terry, San Antonio's success has been fueled by their inside-out attack. They have one of the best 4 players in the league in Sophia Young. Through hard work, she's improved her game every season. Becky Hammond was raving about Sophia today. She said her game keeps evolving. She's improved the range. She makes fadeaways and difficult shots look easy. And then Becky said she has the best hands of anyone I've ever played with. I call her Spider-Man hands because you just throw the ball in her vicinity and she goes up and gets it. And Terry, as you know, a post needs the guards to want to throw her the ball.
I'm glad you admit that, as a matter of fact, Rebecca. We are underway here in Washington. The officials today, Clark Stevens, Monita Spence, and Murat Kogut. San Antonio having won 8 of their last 10 and 3 in a row. There is Sophia Young dishing it to Waters. Sliding down the lane, and Waters, who has been a big pickup for them.
Well, this is a terrific team in terms of how it was put together. You've got post players, Ann Waters and Ruth Riley, who are multi-dimensional. In other words, they're not just back to the basket. They can face up, they can pass, they can screen.
Langhorne, who went into the starting lineup recently on the recent West Coast trip. Nakia Sanford was starting for Washington for Tree Rollins, but now the rookie getting a chance to open up games. And a foul on the second possession for San Antonio. Dan Hughes, their head coach, not only the coach, but also the general manager. A bit philosophical, I thought, talking to him before the game today about his role and about this league in general.
Well, philosophically, he has always been about making sure the players you have are gifted physically, but that the pieces fit together and that they're good people. They want to commit to your game plan, and he's put together a terrific, terrific lineup.
Sophia Young over the zone with the miss, and here come the Mystics. That first foul on Nikki Blue at the other end. The spin move along the baseline, and there's a foul on the Silver Stars. That's going to be the first on Sophia Young. Tree Rollins at the helm. His second year, took over for Richie Adebato last year. Great player for 18 years in the NBA, and now a head man here in the WNBA. 15 and 10 last year after taking over. This was a team that struggled early. Curry gets the roll from the free throw line. Monique Curry, too, in her 3rd year from Duke. A great career there, and now really starting to find herself, especially beyond the arc.
Well, the acquisition was made of Curry because she was a great scorer, as you said, at Duke. And this is a player with a good mid-range game. She, along with Beard, are shooting a career-high percentage from 3, remarkably. You look at Washington's personnel, you wouldn't think they're a great three-point shooting team. They lead the league in that category.
At the beginning of the season, other teams said, well, let's sit in the zone. Let's make them prove they can shoot from the outside. They've done that. Langhorne running the floor, stripped away, though. Good hustle by Helen Darling, who's getting a start for Dan Hughes today. For Vicky Johnson, her grandmother passed away this past Monday. The wake was Friday, and she is not here in Washington. There are the numbers. And Washington leading the league almost 40% beyond the arc, but only averaging 70 points per game. Langhorne to the left hand, gets the move inside.
Well, and I like the switch to Crystal Langhorne. You put her in the starting lineup, her first couple of assignments, Lisa Leslie, Lauren Jackson, so a little bit tougher, but she's a terrific finisher around the rim. Always upward of 60% during her 4 years at Maryland.
Yeah, welcome to a starting role in the WNBA. Curry to the left hand and up, blocked out of bounds by Busher. Stays here with 19 on the shot clock. Erin Busher, too, one of those veterans who just knows how to play and has been a key part and another chemistry part for Dan Hughes.
Oh, exactly. And another multi-dimensional player, doesn't care about how many shots she gets, can score in transition, runs the floor, but committed to the defensive end as well.
Curry with the miss. McWilliams-Franklin, the veteran, 6-time All-Star. Langhorne, as they play inside out. Good recovery for Hammond. Always a difficult defense to attack. Dan Hughes, and there it is. They throw it away inside as Waters came down to help out.
That is what he has built his career on, whether in Charlotte, Cleveland, or now San Antonio. Dan Hughes likes defense.
Nikki Blue ahead of Busher, no contact, and off the glass and in.
But I'll tell you this, I was going to say this prior to the last possession. I like the activity of Washington defensively. They're aggressive, they're getting their hands on a lot of basketballs, and then they're trying to transition off of that. For a team that struggles to score, get out and get some easy ones.
The Mystics 3-3 at home this year here inside the Verizon Center, and the Silver Stars 2-5 on the road. They recently lost their first home game. They're 9-1 at home. The only undefeated team at home so far this year, Detroit, 7-0. McWilliam Franklin pulls up for the 15-footer.
There's a nice energy about this team. Washington has struggled to put points on the board, but not consistently. It's been one quarter a game that's generally pinched them. In fact, the last time they played San Antonio, they had a period where they only put 6 points on the board.
That was the fourth quarter, as a matter of fact, not the one where you want to have single digits. Busher with the miss, cleared by Langhorne. Here comes Nikki Blue, who's been big coming back from that sprained ankle, solidifying that point guard spot.
Yeah, that has been a real question mark. They gave Amber Jacobs a look at that position. She just could not produce. She has since been waived.
Darling, good anticipation along the baseline. Hammond looking to run. How about pace today? Who would like to get up and down?
Well, I think obviously Washington, despite the fact that they have not scored a lot, likes to get out in transition. I think with the pieces you have in San Antonio, you could certainly run. Becky Hammond is terrific in the open floor, not only scoring it, but a great decision maker.
Sophia Young breaks a 7-0 run by the Mystics. Beard behind the screen. Busher late getting out. That's a big screen from Langhorne, too.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's an undervalued part of the game, Terry. It's a simple thing, but a screen can free a shooter. Look at the time Beard had to get that off.
Hammond slices down and misses. She does that as well as anyone in the league. Finds a way somehow to keep her dribble and continue going.
Yes, and change her body with the dribble.
Beard, who had a huge game against Sacramento earlier in the week, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. It's off her leg, so she turns it over back to the Silver Stars. Third turnover for Washington.
Elena Beard has always had so much responsibility on her shoulders since she arrived here at Washington for her ability to put points on the board. There's been times where she's had to play the one position because of the question marks, and that takes away from that scoring ability.
Well, yeah, without Blue, as a matter of fact, she had to do a lot of that, handle the basketball, which obviously takes away some of the energy from scoring.
She also said it changes her mindset, Terry. She's thinking so much about getting her teammates involved from the lead guard spot.
Crystal Smith, third-year player from Iowa, on the floor for Washington. Another one up and in. Sophia Young making it look easy.
But for a player who came out of college from Baylor, and people say, well, what position is she going to play? She's had a pretty good career thus far.
Nakia Sanford out of control picks up the foul. First on her, I should say. Early going here. Silver Stars trailing by 3. Washington out and running.
Washington Mystics, and you're watching the WNBA on
8:46 left in the first quarter here in D.C. Washington out to the 9-6 lead over San Antonio. We talked about it out west. Look how close it is at the top, and that race for the final playoff spot.
Of course, the completely revamped Seattle roster, Swin Cash, Cheryl Swoops going out to join Sue Bird and Lauren Jackson. I think LA right now, every team in the WNBA goes through a stretch where it's a 2, 3, or 4 game bump. They are on a 3-game losing streak. You've got to get back quickly because this season is a sprint.
They're a marked team, too. I mean, they are the headline team now with Candace Parker, and they draw huge crowds on the road when they go. It is a big game for whatever team plays.
There's no question about it. I think, clearly, I marvel at Candace Parker's ability to consistently produce with the weight of expectations that has always been on her shoulders.
Waters gets a step on Sanford inside, uses her body off the glass and in.
This is a vastly improved Ann Waters. I remember Becky Hammond, we had them early in the season, and she said, you are not going to believe how good Ann Waters has gotten.
Back in 05 for the Liberty, she averaged 14 points and 7 rebounds, but now it's going into the starting lineup here. Ruth Riley, that allows Dan Hughes to bring Ruth Riley, the veteran who has championship experience, off the bench. High arcing shot for Crystal Smith.
You were a jump shooter and you marveled at the air you got underneath that.
Scramble down low. We'll see who's tied up. Ann Waters. I think it is Smith.
Well, I can't speak to shooting because that was not my forte. But my partner, Ken, a terrific shooter at NC State, the lefty, brings it down. Instant energy.
So she goes up over Waters at that end and then helped tie up Waters at this end. But thankfully, mercifully, they're going to put Nakia Sanford in there. And see, that's what Dan Hughes is saying right now. It wasn't her. It was Smith who tied her up. And I think I agree with Dan.
Well, he was surprising before the game when we had an opportunity to talk to him. He was talking about how long he might coach. And it seems like he's questioning exactly how long perhaps he wants to do it.
Although, that's not to say that he doesn't like this team or is in any way brought down by the wear and tear this season. I think he loves this team right now.
He loves this team. In fact, put it together in a way that not only are they physically talented, but the group is united. They're selfless. They're committed to the defensive end of the floor. And listen, I think anyone who's got the dual role in this league of general manager and coach, it's getting more and more competitive. Those jobs are two distinct jobs.
So secure it real strong, all right?
Ruth Riley off the bench in her 8th year, a couple of WNBA titles with Detroit. Here she is, top of the key. Young set up nicely, but halfway down and out. So Washington on the attack now, having hit their last 4 field goals. And Riley called for the hold. When she was out for 2 games with a bone bruise in her ankle, but has missed 4 overall, and they're 0-4 in those games.
Well, you know what, I always thought, and even in her role in Detroit when they won a couple of championships, this is a player who's committed to screening, can hit the high post shot. When you have post players who can pass and shoot, it is such a valuable piece.
Shot clock down to 2, got to go. That one wasn't as high arching. Tipped out of bounds, San Antonio basketball. Yeah, Ruth Riley also gives Dan Hughes a player that you can spread the floor with. You know, as you mentioned, when you have a post player who can shoot as well as pass, but especially the shooting part for them off the bench, that's another weapon that opens everything up inside.
In the absence of Shauna Crossley, who's a terrific catch and shoot player, is out for the season with a knee injury, that's huge, her ability to hit that face up.
Sophia Young thought she had missed it. She went after the rebound and didn't need to.
Well, that's exactly what Rebecca was speaking to, her increased range. And that's 16, 17 feet she just shot that from.
6 points in the game for Young so far. McWilliams Franklin, who Tree Rollins has said has really taught the other players, the young players, how to be professional basketball players.
Come to work every day, regardless of how you're feeling. Give your best effort. Taj quietly one of the most consistent post players in this league.
Sanford trying to stay with Young and body here off the lane. Double down, kicking it out to Darling beyond the arc. Beard. Neither team with an opportunity to run yet. The one outlet to Nikki Blue, that was it. Sanford, who struggled this year, bit of a disappointment the first half of the season.
Yeah, a story in a local paper talking about how much she struggled physically, how tired she feels.
Beard clears it to Smith. Yeah, just a month into the season, though. You don't want to be, although it's not a month into the season for most of the players. They come right off a European schedule.
Yeah, a lot of these players, Terry, are playing almost all year long. You might get a month off here and there, but that's the reality. And Sanford is one of those players, and as you age, as she is aging, it becomes harder and harder for your body to recover and get prepared for this shorter season.
Oh, nice dish. Nice catch by Ruth Riley, the one hand. Sophia Young on the pass.
That's the second high post pass she's made. So what happens? She makes a jump shot, you go closer to her, and she dumps it down in a high-low set.
Curry trying to draw the foul, can't, but gets it high off the glass and in. Two-time All-American at Duke, whose father drove to every game, 4 hours there and back, and then worked the night shift. Washington basketball with the lead. And 49.2 left here in the first. A reminder, NBA TV tonight, Phoenix out west against Los Angeles, and then Thursday on ESPN2, the Sparks on the road to take on Sacramento at 9 Eastern, and next Sunday right back here inside the Verizon Center, Connecticut, top team in the East, taking on Washington.
A lot of terrific young pieces from Mike Thibault. Sandrine Gruda, a center, 19 or 20 years of age, Terry. Outstanding upside for her.
Kendra Weber off the bench for the first time. Coco Miller as well lets it fly on her first possession. Langhorne back in for Tree Rollins too. Oh, what a screen. Aaron Busher just blindsided Crystal Smith. And the foul down low. Langhorne just picked up her first. I mean, Crystal Smith never saw the screen coming.
Well, this is where communication is so important now. There's nobody on that side of the floor. Your teammates simply must communicate.
Got right back up, though.
Yes, she did. I love it.
Young at the free throw line. 75% free throw shooter. As a team, San Antonio, as Louise Lawson-Wade comes into the game, shoots 80% from the free throw line. Hammond the best at over 90%, almost 95%. But Washington, on the other hand, as bad as you're going to get, 66%.
And they've been consistently bad over the years. Yeah, that's a momentum breaker. You work so hard to earn your opportunities at the free throw stripe, and you're giving away 3 points.
And late in the game, it will really cost you, and it has. Tipped out, stays here, 4.2 left.
Sanford, of course, a breakout year last year, 11.6 rebounds. Tree Rollins said it drastically changed the way people had to guard us.
Langhorne open inside for a moment, didn't get it. Wecker with the miss, offensive rebound and the putback. Count it. Bit of momentum heading to the second for Tree Rollins and the home team.
Crystal Langhorne made her living. She's a southpaw, and at Maryland, she was always around the rim. If they did not get her the ball, she could make her own opportunities. Terrific inside position. Could have been an N1.
You know what? It reminds you, too, how long 4 seconds is. I mean, they got it in. They got it to another person, got a dribble, a shot, a rebound, a putback, all in those 4 seconds. So 17-13 at the end of the first. Back with more after this message and a word from our AB.
Joined now by San Antonio coach Dan Hughes. Coach, you love your defense. What adjustments will you make in that second quarter?
Well, we got to do a better job. They got some scoring in the paint. They got it off of a tough offensive rebound. We got to clean that up a little bit. They've also driven it hard. I think our positioning on the ball has got to be a little better because Curry and Beard are getting directly to the route. So if we can slow the ball down a little bit, get them outside the paint, it'll be great for our defense.
Offensively, most of your points coming from your post players. What production do you need to get from your perimeter guards?
Well, I don't mind establishing inside first. We've got to get some space for Becky, and some of that may be if we're good inside, we'll get a little bit more. But I think our ball movement and our ability to swing the ball will create some looks on the weak side. We haven't done a great job of that yet.
All right, Coach, thank you. Terry?
All right, Rebecca, thanks. Yeah, Becky Hammond, one of 3 starters for San Antonio, held scoreless in the first quarter. In fact, only 3 players have scored for them so far. Sophia Young, Ann Waters, and Ruth Riley in Washington dominating on the glass, 12-6 so far.
And they've had 7 different scores to San Antonio's 3. And this, to me, Terry, is where you miss Vicky Johnson. You talked about the loss of her grandmother prohibiting her from being here today. Vicky Johnson has been playing the point guard position for San Antonio. Vicky Johnson, the consummate pro. You look at what she's achieved over her career. More games than anybody in WNBA history, more minutes, 6 in assists. Look at that, a virtual person who could score and set up players.
Crystal Langhorne to the left hand, the rookie from Maryland who is the all-time leading scorer and rebounder in Terp history, the 08 ACC Player of the Year, and the largest lead now for Washington. Lawson-Wade throws it away.
And Kendra Weber, a terrific athlete. Great anticipation there to step in front of that pass.
Signed her on June 23rd, the 4th overall pick back in 05 by San Antonio. Spent 3 years with the Silver Stars. There's Wecker. Good looks down low. Off the glass and in. Somehow Taj able to find the hoop.
Kendra Weber, originally drafted by Dan Hughes, who's going to use a timeout. And that's the time of game Weber had when she was a star at Kansas State.
Largest lead for Washington. It's at 8. Dan Hughes said that's enough. Figure out how to stop this thing.
Kendra Weber made the steal, and then the distribution off the dribble drive. That was that straight line drive Dan Hughes was concerned about.
In his second year, but what a career. Almost 2 decades we watched him in the NBA. swat shots away, take it to the rack. He was a great one.
A terrific defender. That's why he philosophically builds from that end of the floor. Defender, shot blocker, obviously because of his size. And the NBA influence has been critical for this league's development. Beard and Cooper, two of the best coaches in the history of this league. Richie Adubato, who was the head coach of Washington, gave a lot of Tree Rollins offense to Tree. We see you see Washington run a lot of the same stuff that Richie Adubato ran.
George, you take it for granted when you cover the NBA. 7-footers, they're commonplace, but you stand next to Tree Rollins. He is a huge man. In fact, he said one of the great challenges
Here we go. Be active. Be active. Be active.
is the 5'3" person who won't give up the exit row seat in coach.
That's right.
That's, he's still dealing with that.
No charter flights in the WNBA to this point. Rebecca Lobo can attest to that. This is a 34-game sprint of a season, and because of where they are in their point in history, they're still taking coach flights. It could be hard for the women of size and the men of size.
Austin Wade, a wild one-handed shot, gets it back after Riley saved it. Back to Ruth. So Ruth saves it, and Austin Wade finds her.
Well, you have an interesting lineup. You've got two centers on the floor for San Antonio. Kane is in the game because San Antonio's in a zone, or she was in the game just prior to that timeout. It'll be interesting to see where does Washington generate offense against this zone.
Finding ways to get inside the zone right now. They missed the shot there, but Miller, a nice move.
Well, you've got terrific size in there. So Crystal Langhorne, undersized as a post, goes against 6'5" and 6'4" in Riley and Waters.
Nikki Blue trying to deny Young, so Ann Waters says, that's all right. I'm left open. I'll knock down the 16-footer.
This is an interesting lineup. I'm fascinated to see how Riley and Waters play together. They're not playing man-to-man because we saw Wecker beat Waters off the bounce. Too hard for her to check out of a man-to-man.
Curry, who can look to shoot the three over this zone. Nice setup by Miller again. Blue, a little long. Miller runs it down, though. She does that very well.
Non-stop motor for both Coco and Kelly Miller. They work hard.
Another offensive rebound. You heard Dan Hughes talk about having to keep them off the glass. And too many second chances for Washington so far. But the lead down to 4. Waters will pull up and nail the three-pointer.
This line has been terrific, and Washington a wise timeout. Waters and Riley are tearing them up on both ends, blocking shots and making shots.
Waters shoots 43% from three-point land. That's her 7th of the year. So the Silver Stars with the two bigs, Riley and Waters, taking you inside, taking you outside, playing together, back and forth. And right now they're back into this thing at both ends of the floor. 21-20 Washington here in the second. For San Antonio getting it done right now.
Well, I wondered how that lineup would work. Kendra Weber, who had beaten Ann Waters off the bounce, went out of the game. Kane went out of the game, who's a shooter against the zone. I'm interested why those two players are not in the game right now for Washington, but now it looks like San Antonio may come out of the zone. We'll see as they come up the floor. Interesting little chess match between these two coaches in terms of personnel and different philosophies. Zone versus man, when to put it in.
You mentioned Lori Kane, though, one of the best shooters in the WNBA, and not on the floor, even though they are seeing zone.
Yeah, they're still in the zone, and this is why it's shocking to me that Kane, who is, one of the best catch-and-shoot players in the league, is not on the floor.
Blue, tough pass. Somehow it gets through Sanford and knocked out with 7 on the shot clock.
See, this is critical for Washington to me. The point guard position is solidified with Nikki Blue. She scored almost 1,800 points at UCLA, but she's never taking more than 3 or 4 shots a night. I know you've got great scorers in Beard and Curry, but you've got to be an option.
Under 5 on the shot clock, and a shot off the drive for Sanford.
Well, maybe the move to the bench will help her get her legs underneath her.
And the zone at the other end continues for Washington. Tipped out off the hands of McWilliams-Franklin. So 8 on the shot clock for San Antonio. It was Dan Hughes' type of game the first time these two teams met back on June the 6th. 63-52. He likes defense. That's going a little far.
Yeah, I mean, only a coach can appreciate that. Now, he does some announcing for the San Antonio Spurs. He said, now as an announcer, I would have hated that game.
That's right. Both teams shot in the 30s in terms of percent. And Ruth Riley, it hasn't ended. the floater in the lane.
But this is a terrific little stretch for them with both centers on the floor. And look at the size. Even though Washington has been able to get the basketball inside, there's been a couple of blocked shots. It's not been easy for them to convert.
Here's Beard, who can shoot that. Lawson Wade on the move. San Antonio on a roll, hitting 5 shots in a row. They haven't missed in their last 5.
Okay, Ann Waters just sprinted from rim to rim, and that is terrific size combined with great athleticism from the center spot.
Tipped out, it'll stay here. You're right. Interesting shot of Becky Hammond on the bench. Remember, it's still scoreless. It's Riley, and it is Waters who are getting it done for San Antonio right now, and in ways that you wouldn't expect right now, Doris.
Yeah, I mean, these are two capable offensive players who haven't necessarily always been the focal point. When Ann first came in this league, she was the #1 overall selection when Dan was at Cleveland, but she wasn't as polished offensively as she is now.
Sanford Riley on the defensive end getting a hand in. San Antonio leading since they scored the first bucket of the game. It was 2-0, and then Washington went on a 7-0 run. They've had the lead until this last possession.
Doing all this without Becky Hammond, mind you, who's only taken 3 shots.
And Riley breaking it down on the dribble. And the foul called. And it's Ruth Riley who picks up her second. There's Becky Hammond still sitting on the bench.
Yeah, you know what? This is a player who's content to be a decoy, and she's talked a lot about that. Dan Hughes, I asked him, are her percentages reflective of the fact that she played overseas this year, a real grind of a season, and came back? He said no. He said defenses are committing to taking Becky Hammond away, and everybody else on the team is getting opportunities because of that.
So you don't have Vicky Johnson here today because of the death of her grandmother. She didn't make the trip. Becky Hammond's on the bench. Riley and Waters carrying the load right now, but in a 94-foot fashion.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of contribution that Waters can make because she is such a terrific athlete. "17 points, a combined 8 for 9 shooting." How's that?
And San Antonio on an 11-2 run.
The interesting part is that bottom line of the graphic, 3 rebounds. And Dan talked about this. The one weakness of this team has been rebounding. Those are not dominant rebounders from the center position. So interesting that is sort of an encapsulation of what those two are.
The carry for Curry as Riley stepped out to stop her. So Washington turns it over with just under 5, and that's their 6th turnover.
You're going to get Ruth here.
You heard the voice of Dan Hughes say you're going to get Ruth here, so he's going to bring Becky Hammond off the bench.
And how often do you see a guard, come in for a center?
High-low, Ruth doesn't want to come out. She wants more. Sophia Young, the miss and the fadeaway, and Waters with the foul.
And here comes 5'6" Becky Hammond, going to replace 6'5" Ruth Riley.
Yeah, great job by Riley. Remember, they're down by 8. It's 21-13.
Tell you what, opponents who have to play against Ruth Riley always talk about the little things she does. The opposing coaches, the screening she can do, the making shots, the passing.
Beard never saw Waters. Atun Riche steps back. That's a 3. She buys it.
What a terrific pickup. Rookie out of Texas A&M. Atun Riche can knock down 3s. She's a terrific, long, athletic defender. Look at that challenge on the jump shot. She might have gotten a piece. It looked like the trajectory of that shot changed.
That was a tough 3 that Curry just took, under pressure. They jump out, trap Hammond. Well, the intensity's picked up, though, at this end on the defensive level. Kane and the foul. Austin Wade picked up her first. A reminder, road racing specialist Scott Dixon loves heading to Watkins Glen, where he's won 3 straight races at the historic road course. Danica Patrick, Elio Castro-Neves, trying to do everything they can to foil Dixon. Shot at 4 straight. Camping World IndyCar Grand Prix at the Glen right here on ABC. Coming up next. So here's Lori Kane. Wow.
Well,
even Lori Kane, a great shooter, missing. look at the numbers. 66%, one of the all-time worst. And she missed 2 in a row.
Wow, a shooter of her caliber steps. This is where it becomes contagious. You know,
Doris, she could come out in pregame and hit 25 in a row.
Easily.
Not free throws, threes from everywhere. How does she miss 2 free throws in a row?
Because she's never at the line. That's not her game.
You're right. Good challenge at the defensive end. Here come the Silver Stars. Beard trying to stop Hammond. On the screen from Waters. Step back. Young left wide open. Can't get the roll. Waters, the offensive rebound.
Terrific position by Ann Waters and used her length to go ahead and get that one.
There's the double. Well, they had the numbers on this side, couldn't take advantage. Young trying to do that, though. Waters, the follow. It continues for Ann Waters.
That's why the dribble drive is such a valuable part of the game, because Ann Waters is uncontested on the weak side. Sophia Young's ability to draw multiple defenders off the dribble.
Waters with 13, and it's a 16-2 run for the Silver Stars. And they haven't figured out this zone yet. Maybe that's it right there. Lori Kane over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, she has learned to get it off in a hurry. She understands shot preparation. She's getting her feet set as she's coming off the screen. It's amazing to watch good shooters in their pre-shot routine.
She hasn't made a 2 all year. She's 24 of her 27 field goal attempts have been from beyond the arc. Young, nope. Here comes Beard.
Good job by Lawson to slow the progress of Beard. Well, Ruth Riley and Ann Waters, all that size and all that skill. Not traditional back to the basket low post players, but look at this, 19 points between the two of them. Field goal percentage, so efficient. Ann Waters on the offensive glass. Sophia Young, a little bit too hard. Waters there for the cleanup.
Exact same thing earlier today. It's amazing.
It's sort of like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or in my case, you miss 100% of the ones you do take. But this is a player who's got back to the basket skills at 6'4", very long, lean, stronger than she looks. But where, like Riley, she can really hurt you is on her face-up game. She can actually make it consistently from 3. She runs the floor. There's a lot in her arsenal.
Rebecca, what do you have?
Ann Waters spent the last 2 summers back in Belgium. She said she wanted to take time off, but she was also training with the Belgian national team in their effort to qualify for the Olympics. She was excited to come back to San Antonio. She played with both Vicky Johnson and Becky Hammond in New York, and Becky Hammond was her teammate in Moscow this past offseason. Ann said Becky spoke very highly of San Antonio, and then Becky was speaking with Coach Dan Hughes in the offseason, telling him he should try to get Ann Waters right. She played for Coach Hughes for 3 years in Cleveland. She said she knew his principles. Very happy to be back playing for her coach.
Shot clock running down. Wild shot from McWilliams-Franklin, and the violation. The Mystics have only scored 5 points in the last 7 minutes plus. But I do remember talking to Becky Hammond early in the season, and it's one of the first things she said, wait until you see Ann Waters. You're going to love her game this year.
Yeah, I mean, remember, she's only 19 when she came in the league. You're not close to a finished product. That was the kind. Now you've got Waters and Riley tearing it up. And remember what he said to Rebecca at the end of the first period. We need to get Becky Hammond some space. And we get her some space, boy. Forget about it. I don't care where she is in the gym. She'll make that shot.
She just got on the board for the first time, and it was with a 3. Off the glass and in over Waters. Taj with a difficult shot.
Yeah, and you know what? There was a shot of Tree Rollins a moment ago, and he was so frustrated that they had only put 6 points up in such a long stretch.
Williams-Franklin picking up her first, and that's the first team foul on the Mystics.
I mean, come on, same officials. That's why we can't friggin' coach over here.
Tree didn't like the call.
No, he's just looking for a little of his own on the opposite end.
Silver Stars over the limit on the next foul. And Dan Hughes wants to talk things over with 1:10 and 14 on the shot clock. So they will do just that. We'll step away. 4-point lead for the Silver Stars right before the break. Elena Beard and the Mystics trailing by 4. Remember, they had a 21-13 lead with just over 9 minutes left in the second. A reminder, Tuesday at 8/7 Central, it's dirty fun for the whole family. Yeah, listen to that. That's for you, Doris. See why Wipeout has become a giant splash hit, the biggest news show of this summer. All new Wipeout, Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
My kids are looking forward to that show.
Yeah, I know. I hear it's great. I have heard good things. All right, so the 14 seconds on the shot clock here as Hammond's gotten into the act now, just got on the board. Dan Hughes feeling very good about what they've done in the last 7 minutes. For Washington, Tree Rollins, they need the big names to get going. Elena Beard for one.
Well, and it's amazing because this has been a consistent theme. There's been one quarter that's really pinched them where they just cannot put points on the board. I said, what's the product of it? He said, I clearly don't know. Sometimes it's just missed shot opportunities.
Hammond draws the foul. She'll go to the line. And that's a 95% free throw shooter going to the line. First foul on Coco Miller.
It's amazing to me to see Becky Hammond's progress. I was the Liberty announcer when she first came into the league. There were some question marks, and Rebecca was on the Liberty at the time. And Rebecca, in fact, told me there were some question marks whether she even was going to make the roster. Richie Adubato saw something in this young woman that he liked. And now people forget. I mean, she's been so consistently good, one of the top players in the league, second in MVP voting a year ago, Terry, from a player who struggled to get minutes her first year in the league with New York.
Pretty much automatic from the line. She went over a month without a miss at the free throw line. Under a minute here. Riley back on the floor, extended defense. Miller operates on Hammond, the fadeaway backing Becky in. For that big lineup to close out the first half for Dan Hughes. There's the screen from Riley, which he does very well, to free up Hammond, who's fouled by Blue. Oh, she got bailed out. That was going to be a difficult shot. Second foul on Nikki Blue. Silver Stars and the Mystics expect great, and so do you. So get to the arena, be part of the action. Single game tickets to see your favorite WNBA team on sale now. WNBA.com/tickets to get your tickets. There's Hammond, another automatic free throw. She went most of the first half scoreless, and a good chunk of it sitting on the bench. And you watch, you'll look up to start the fourth quarter and she'll have 20 points.
That's exactly right, because she can string them together in a hurry. Their ability to go back-to-back-to-back threes in a matter of seconds is amazing. And she does not have a particularly high release point on that jump shot.
Inside out to Beard. Elena, the fadeaway, just can't get things going offensively. Here comes Darling, 5. With time, a Toon Richey blocked by Blue. That'll do it in the end of the first. A 23-7 run for San Antonio in the last 9 minutes. Waters with 13 to lead the way, along with Ruth Riley and then Becky Hammond late in that first half. Remember, it was all Sophia Young the first couple of minutes for the Silver Stars.
Yeah, Becky Hammond did a terrific job of biding her time and being patient.
Waters a big first half, standing by with Rebecca.
And 26 of your team's 36 points came from the post. Why were the bigs able to be so effective offensively?
I think they pay a lot of attention to Becky. They're trapping really hard on the pick and roll. So, of course, that leaves some room for us to work. So I think we just have to keep on moving inside and get some easy layups.
Defensively, what were the keys, especially in that second quarter?
I think our zone worked pretty well. If we keep rebounding, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, Ann, thank you. Terry, I was just talking to a woman of size, as Doris puts it.
Good way to put it, Rebecca. IHOP halftime report coming your way. Take a look at the first half, but also what's going on around the WNBA here in season number 12, out west and in the east with Connecticut and Detroit near the top. 36-28, your halftime score. The Silver Stars on the road on top. Doris and I come back along with Rebecca in just a moment. Antonio looking to win their 4th game in a row. 36-28, and just a few moments ago, here's what the coaches were talking about in the locker rooms.
Yeah, you got to be doing the work before Becky's in a situation, a dilemma.
You got to do your work physically early to come into play. And you post players coming out of that situation, you got to dive hard because you're trying to create space for us to create this. And then we'll come to you on that next pass. Everybody got that? All right? And they're doing that. They're aggressive on some other ball handler situations. So we want to continue that coming out of it.
Can't wait till the fourth quarter to turn it on. We can't wait. All right? Come on, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. They're not doing anything that complicated to stop us. We're stopping ourselves right now. We're stopping ourselves. We got an advantage inside, we have an advantage outside. So come on, play Mystics basketball. Come on, we got 10 minutes to get ourselves together, go out third quarter and get back into the game. Come on, let's go.
All right, so the strategy in the locker rooms in their own words, and Rebecca Lobo talked about Tree Rollins and Dan Hughes as well. Rebecca?
Well, when I talked to Coach Hughes, obviously the big lineup very effective. He said they've been able to use it the last 3 games since Ruth Riley got healthy. He said we haven't been healthy enough to use it before that, but I like it. It's very impactful. And in terms of the zone, he said you'll see a lot more of that in the second half. He said we spelled some runs with it in the first half. We'll do the same in the second. Tree Rollins said he didn't think that the zone was what was giving them all kinds of issues. He said it was that they were not attacking the zone. They're going to try some different sets in this second half and get his players to attack. And he said, you know, why aren't we attacking? I have no idea. I keep jumping up and down over here and saying nice words. They just need to attack, guys. If you're not listening to that guy, I don't know who you're going to listen to.
Try the not so nice words, maybe. That'll work. Elena Beard's got to get into it. She's 1 of 4 so far in the game, but Nikki Blue opens up with a hoop.
Well, she had a look for Clark Stevens as she came up the floor, did Elena Beard, but 2 players right there, Beard and Blue, who attacked off the dribble.
Beard 1 of 4, and Nikki Blue just 1 of 3 in the first half. There's the foul on the attempted steal.
Yeah, if you can't get anything from Clark Stevens, we'll go over to the other official and try it. And her point being, well, if they're going to get that call, let me get one on the opposite end. Look at this, the 2 dynamic scorers, 2 people who are generally speaking in the top 10 in scoring in the league. Those are Terry Gannon kind of numbers.
Ah, yes. The struggles, you mean. Yeah, Elena Beard, the 4th leading scorer in the league at almost 20 a game. Just 2 points so far.
Yeah, took 3 shots in the first half.
She doesn't make a living beyond the arc, but when you see that zone, she's certainly capable.
No, and again, I've said it a couple of times. This season, she's 45% from 3. That is a career high percentage-wise for her.
Well, Busher ran right into the screen of Taj McWilliams-Franklin, and they're going to call the offensive foul on Taj. That's her second. Well, she got popped as well.
Yeah, Taj is coming up. She's sort of making motions with her mouth as if she took a shot, and indeed, wow. That looks more like a football hit than a basketball hit.
Busher coming off that ACL surgery in the offseason. Young was active early, hasn't been able to buy one since. So Curry, as the Mystics look to run and do, Langhorne ahead of everyone.
I'll tell you this about Crystal Langhorne. You feel very confident when you pass her the basketball. Even though she doesn't take a ton of shots yet this league, she finishes around the rim.
Hammond turns it over. Here comes Beard. Mystics, can they go back-to-back on possessions? Haven't been able to do much of that. Curry with the bad miss.
Yeah, she's frustrated. You know, it's so rare when you get such an uncontested look. And she didn't have a defender within 3 or 4 feet of her.
All 3 defenders came out to stop Hammond, and she found water.
Yeah, look at that. That's exactly what the audio of Dan Hughes was talking about. Let's create some space. Dive hard. Make your cuts to the rim hard.
That's assist number 800 in the career of Becky Hammond. Taj. Langhorne does work, and the foul.
Langhorne was 3 for 6 in the first half, 50%. She's got 2 makes here. This is a lefty who, I'll tell you, her entire career at Maryland, she did exactly this. Get terrific position, be around the rim, and score the basketball.
Away from the defender with the left hand.
Little pressure here by Washington. This is an attempt by Tree Rollins to keep their energy level up. So he went to a little zone pressure. And I like this strategy, Terry. The reason I like the strategy, Dan Hughes right now, that, you know, with Vicky Johnson out of the floor, you've got Helen Darling, Becky Hammond, but you've also got players who are not used to handling the basketball in Young, Busher, and Waters. So he comes with some full court pressure, does Tree Rowland.
Hammond trying to apply pressure, and the foul inside. And Waters picking up her second. And the team second here in the third.
You wonder how soon does he go back to that big lineup.
Off the hands of McWilliams Franklin. Yeah, you got to believe that it's something that you're not going to stay in for long stretches. At least that's the plan, but it worked for a long stretch in the first half.
Yeah, and if you do stay in it for stretches, you're going to have to be in the zone an awful lot, because then, you know, depending on who's looking opposite you at the 4 spot, whichever player, Waters or Riley, is defending the 4. A lot of 4s in this league can get off the dribble. They can make shots. They've got good speed.
Hammond, another tough screen. She comes around that. Becky almost got it to go. The foul on Nikki Blue.
So she's becoming a little bit more aggressive and assertive. They get her off the basketball. They run this a lot for her. Stagger screens, whether it's on the baseline or in that particular instance coming from low to high.
Felt the contact and got it up to the hoop right away too, and she's not going to miss many of those. Blue's third foul.
And I was talking, and you could appreciate this because this is the kind of player, you were a shooter, so you understood. Becky does a great job of setting up her cuts. So that little one step away, and then she uses, you know, the player who's setting the screen for her, goes shoulder to shoulder. So important, the little movements in basketball.
Oh, the little hesitation.
Yes.
Whether you have the ball or don't have the ball, for someone who doesn't have great size and does not have a high release. Foul underneath.
So Beard is a terrific setup person as well. And again, her ability to get off the dribble. She is unselfish, and because she's so good at scoring the basketball, defenders sell out to her. Unselfish play.
Erin Busher picking up her first foul, and the third on the Silver Stars. Mystics with 2 team fouls in the quarter. And the Washington woes at the free throw line continue. But Nikki Blue is 77% free throw shooter, and you're right, it does become contagious.
It almost now it becomes a mental battle. You know, it's a team mental battle, and you, as a coach, you know, do you put in extra time? Do you not say anything?
She makes the second, giving them a chance to apply some full court pressure. Busher wide open, doesn't even look to score. Here's Young. Backs in on the block, little fadeaway in the lane. Sophia Young. Young with 9, but she had most of those in the first 5 minutes of the game. On the run, here comes Darling. Right around Nikki Blue.
Good aggressive move by Helen Darling. Attack and transition. Defender was not prepared for that move.
No chance for Langhorne to get to that pass.
Now, Helen Darling has at times been the starting point guard for this team. Now they've moved her off that with Vicky Johnson having played that position, but good aggressive move in transition. You know what? Put it up at the rim, you had somebody in position, and maybe the defender commits a foul. Smart play by Darling.
Smith back in, trying to stop Darling now. Sets up Hammond beyond the arc. That's a 3.
Great rotation. I mean, the rotation of that basketball is so pure. It just turns seam over seam when it comes off her hands.
And the lead is 12. Taj to the left hand, and there's the foul on Busher, her second.
Terry, watch the rotation on this basketball. It's again, pre-shot preparation, come hard off the screen, and look at that, seam over seam. And really, the orange and white, or excuse me, I think it's called oatmeal and white basketball, or oatmeal and orange.
Oatmeal.
That's what that color is, apparently, oatmeal and orange.
It's multicolored, adding to the effect. Let's leave it at that.
Listen, Val Ackerman, Renee Brown, and the people who were around when this league was formed, they thought of a lot of things, and that basketball was supposed to, you know, project a pretty image on TV. And when you got a shooter like Becky Hammond, it does.
In women's basketball, do you like the smaller ball?
I do not. I mean, you know what? It's easier for the women to handle. It is a full inch smaller than a regulation men's basketball. Most of these women traditionally, you know, especially the older players who've been in the league for a long time, overseas they used to play with the bigger basketball. Now FIBA has gone to this size. So I guess the uniformity I like, the fact that all leagues are playing with the same size.
Smith, another high-arching shot. This one doesn't go. Good look up from Darling to Hammond. Thought about it, reloaded, and in and out. Didn't have the rhythm that time. Once you reload as a shooter, it's very hard to get that rhythm back.
I wouldn't know a thing about that.
It's Williams-Franklin off the heel. Silver Stars really looking to run.
Nice pass. Oh, that is on the money.
Hammond to Sophia Young. She's got 11 in the game. The lead is 12. They've hit the half-century mark.
I'm telling you like how San Antonio is put together. They've got terrific shooter Becky Hammond. They've got posts who can run the floor. They're unselfish and they defend. They can compete.
I'm Becky Hammond of the San Antonio Silver Stars, and you're watching the WNBA on ABC.
Come hungry, leave happy.
Nice day on the mall here in Washington. Inside the Verizon Center, though, the home team struggling right now, trailing by 12. Monique Curry, Elena Beard both struggling. Listen to this. Here's what they do in the huddle. You'll like this.
So my best impersonation of Monique Curry. We're in the huddle.
We're gonna go here, we're gonna drive, and then we're gonna go around to the side. Monique, you got that?
Yeah.
You're gonna cut over here, through here, and then you're gonna go down, and then you're gonna slice off that.
Man, can y'all just set a screen for me?
Monique Curry, just 1 of 7, but her hair looks very good.
Combined 2 for 12. These are your 2 leading options from the perimeter. And it's no wonder you find yourself trailing on your home floor.
I love that snapshot of her actually doing it, too. Coming right out of the break and on cue. Curry getting the bucket, so it's a 10-point lead as you look at the Mystics shooting only 39% from the floor.
I'm sure Tree Rollins is going to love watching the video of this and seeing where his player is looking during timeouts. Little hesitation move. How about that strong drive? When you go to the rim with purpose like that, that can make a coach happy.
Broke a 9-2 San Antonio run in the last minute 34. Here's Young with room to operate. So good at that fadeaway in traffic. Not this time, though. She's able to create space where there is none. Haj over Waters. That was very easy. Tree Rollins was talking about her before the game, said it's remarkable because she seems to go in slow motion very often, but she gets it done. It's a veteran movement.
She says it's not necessarily about the height, it's about the heart, because she has excelled as an undersized post player.
Young with the quickness advantage. Not close. A little too quick. So a chance to cut it to 6, maybe 5. Good defense by Waters.
Wow. And
they'll call the jump ball. Huh. Okay.
Now, Tree Rollins is going to plead his case. Terrific post defense. Don't use that forearm bar to make yourself get called. Stay vertical. Remember that principle of verticality. Do not let your arms go over the shooter. Do not give him an option to call a foul. Terrific post defense. Rebecca Lobo can appreciate that over there on the sideline.
And that, Rebecca. McWilliams-Franklin with the easy one off the tip. Now, defensively, too, she never left her feet. Never gave the offensive player a chance then to take advantage of that. Darling right by Crystal Smith, and the foul, we'll see who they whistle for it. And it is Crystal Smith. Her second, team's fourth.
Taj McWilliams-Franklin quietly successful. The Wiley veteran gets a little post position.
It's a great tap by Sanford, too.
Yes.
Darling, an 82% free throw shooter, misses the first. And you're right about Helen Darling. I mean, they do really miss Vicky Johnson. But this is the 9th start of the season for Helen Darling.
I like Helen Darling. She's another player who Dan Hughes drafted when he was at Cleveland. Got her in the second round, first pick of the second round when she came out of Penn State. Just a savvy point guard, understands how to play in San Antonio, back into the zone, and back to the big lineup.
Looking for a seam. Taken away by Darling, the mother of triplets, by the way. That one blocked inside. Shot clock running out, doesn't matter. Taken away by Darling. 1-on-2. Didn't have an advantage at all. Good play by Beard. Here she comes leading the break. Elena. And the type of stop at one end, bucket at the other, that could lead to more momentum.
Beard was fired up. She was going to the rim and she was going to make something happen. When she finished the shot, she reacted emotionally. I think she's trying to give her team a physical and mental lift right now.
An 8-1 run by Washington.
Elena Beard is fired up. She is playing with a purpose. She's a player who has an impact on both ends of the floor. Defensively, make a block shot, then rake and take. And there was no question she was not going to pass that basketball. She wanted that shot. How about the way her steps propel her to the rim? Those were two big steps, and her emotional reaction after it, she is fired up.
6 points in the game now for Beard after struggling for most of the game to this point. Averaging almost 20 a game on the year. Well, a reminder, it's coming up July 19th and 20th, the oldest, most prestigious championship in golf. Royal Birkdale, the site this year for the Open Championship. Audric Harrington, the winner last year at Carnoustie. Without Tiger now, you're looking at Sergio, Ernie Els, the co-favorites, the latest odds that I saw. Mickelson, of course, in the mix.
You're lucky. You're going over there for a while. You're going to be involved with maybe the most prestigious championship. I guess you say definitively the most prestigious championship in golf. I'm interested. I would be fascinated to know what the other golfers participating in that Open Championship without Tiger competing, how their mindset changes. So, Sergio wins a tournament and says, I'd like to thank Tiger for not being here.
That's right. Well, Hunter Mahan actually said it a couple of days ago. He said about Ernie Els and Sergio maybe being the favorites. He said, yeah, but it'll be like the Comets back in the mid-90s, Houston, when they won a couple of titles, when Michael Jordan was temporarily retired. Yeah, asterisk. But listen, for an event that is as old as that is and as prestigious as it is, it's the British Open. It's a major. Yeah. So, Tiger or no Tiger, it's a great way to spend your weekend.
Look at Beard. It's an anomaly typically to see somebody perform better away from home. And underperforming for her standards today, certainly. Give some credit to San Antonio and their defense.
3:05 left here in the third. Hammond. Oh, they gave her just an eyelash of room. Can't get it this time. Here comes Beard. Coming out of that timeout, still pumped up. Little hesitation move on Hammond right by her, and Becky called for the reach.
That's a change of pace. Becky Hammond has put that to a number of defenders in her career. Had put to her there by Elena Beard.
And they are over the limit, so she will be shooting. Oh, this is a different Elena Beard here in the last 4 minutes or so.
We had some audio at the half, and you could hear Tree Rollins pleading with his team not to wait till the fourth period. Give me some energy now. This is a guy who's pretty laid back, but there have been points today where you could see the disgust in both his body language and his voice.
Full court pressure again. It's worked. Waters breaks it and gives it up to the guard. Lawson Wade back to look at the defense by Sanford all over Ann Waters, who's proven that she can shoot the three. Hammond with 5 on the shot clock, right through past Wecker.
Now she was a rookie in the league. That's a great steal by Atuna Shea. Pull
up along the baseline, in and out. Smith a chance to run, and Lawson Wade, that's not a good foul.
When Hammond was a rookie and she tried to make this move, she would have never gotten to the rim, or she would have had it blocked when she got there. But now, watch this, little English, and I'll tell you what she does better than anyone in the league. There's a spin on her ball, so even when she gets at odd angles, the English she could put on the basketball, meaning the spin, she finishes so well.
Enhanced by the multicolored ball.
The oatmeal and orange basketball.
Left-hander Smith gets the first one. Sophia Young comes back on to the floor, and Waters takes the seat. Young with 11 in the game. Waters has led the way, though, with 16. Becky Hammond now with 14 for the Silver Stars. With Williams-Franklin 12. Langhorne 11 for Washington. Here's that full court pressure again.
Yeah, a little 2-2-1. And again, the reason you can go to this is because you've got Lawson and Hammond as your ball handlers. The other three players not, terrifically comfortable handling.
They spin it around. Here's Young. Step back over Langhorne. That's all she needed, that little bit of space.
Yeah, I'll tell you, terrific ball reversal. It's amazing when the ball goes side to side what kinds of shots you can get.
Hard to make young players understand that.
Yes.
Just getting it side to side, making the defense work. But it opens up so much. Washington doing the same to Beard beyond the arc. That's a three.
Boy, she looks as confident as I've ever seen her from out there. And you know what she's doing well, Terry, and why she's shooting such a high percentage? She's picking her spots from deep.
Young fades away. No, that was a tough shot. Scramble, and there's the jump ball.
I'll say it over and over. Elena Beard has always been terrific off the bounce. Going in either direction, she's a lefty, but she can go both. She's just biding her time, no wasted energy. Defender does not come out, and feet set, ready to go.
And now in double figures, and it's a two-point game. Wecker to the bench. Coco Miller comes on for Tree Rollins.
And this, look at that. That's what I said, picking her spots. She's 1 for 2. It's not a major part of her arsenal, but if you give her space and time, she will make that shot.
Well, you got two guards. You got Crystal Smith at 5'6", and Lawson Wade also at 5'6", and it was a tough toss for the official. Look again. Beard, a Toon Richer, changed it just enough. Hammond lost it twice and got it back. Lawson Wade left wide open. The scramble and the foul, I believe, on Young. It is. She can't believe it. Third foul on Sophia Young. 16th foul, so we walk to the other end. Now Washington again, as we look ahead to the fourth, they're in a position to win. And now it comes down to not only executing, but what you're looking at right now, free throws.
Hey, remember what I said, it's not just about the 3 points you're giving away. Tree Rollins, your philosophy is starting with the defense and building out. Well, now you've worked incredibly hard on the defensive end, and you're giving away momentum here by missing free throws. It starts to play with your mind. You're saying, I just exerted all that energy, and for what?
They get it back in a fresh shot clock. And throw it away. Nikki Blue, no chance to get that pass inside. Hammond, one-on-one. Around the screen of Young, blocked, and the offensive foul on Becky Hammond.
Wow, I'll tell you, there was a lot of contact en route to the basket. She's in absolute disbelief. Now listen, we get multiple looks and how many. There's a bump where she gets knocked off pace. Let's see the second one, a charge call.
Yeah, you had two officials signaling two different things.
Yeah.
So I believe they're going to call the double foul and go to the. And that's what they do call.
The double.
How do you get a double foul?
See, I did not agree with the charge call, and I thought Becky Hammond got hit first by Blue.
How do you call a double foul when a player is driving to the hoop and is involved in the actual foul?
See, in college,
either it's a charge or a block.
Well, in college, when there's a disagreement, the officials come together, talk it over, and then make a decision.
Dan Hughes and Tree Rollins are asking the same thing.
See, I see a block there. I don't see a charge. I just don't think she has the, she's not giving her enough space. Becky Hammond's already there. And I thought Becky got fouled twice en route to the rim.
Boy, that's very odd. So both teams over the limit right now. They'll go to the circle. One official called the charge, one called a block. But whatever the book says, normally they come together and they talk about what it is.
In college, that's the rule.
I understand the rule. What I'm saying is common sense usually prevails.
Okay.
They get together and they say, I had a better look.
Right.
I was in a better position.
Yep.
Lawson Wade now controls it for San Antonio. Around Miller, here's Young. Out to Riley, free throw line jumper, she's got another one.
Huge, just huge. She is shooting the basketball, according to Dan Hughes, as well as she shot it in her career. I think she's comfortable in San Antonio. She likes her teammates. I think she likes the philosophy.
Rebecca Lobo will have a word with Tree Rollins. Coming up shortly. 4-point lead for San Antonio. 5 on the shot clock for Beard. Good defense at Tunrishe, but the offensive rebound for Sanford swatted away by Riley. She had 4 blocks in her last game. Hammond almost buries it at the buzzer. So Washington with the edge here in the third, 25-21. But a 4-point lead for the Silver Stars on the road as we head to the fourth.
Welcome back to the Verizon Center, where Washington has cut the lead to 4, joined down by Mystics head coach Tree Rollins. Tree, what was the difference in your team the last 5 minutes of that third quarter?
Just energy. I mean, we played the second quarter with no energy, and we talked about it a little bit at halftime. I mean, it's not really what San Antonio is doing to us. We're just not playing with a lot of energy. So we picked it up here in the third quarter, and hope we can carry that on to the fourth quarter. As you know, the fourth quarter, the ball is being in Hammond's hands a lot, so we got to find a way to keep it out of our hands. And one, if they do put it in our hands, we got to trap her and get out of our hands again.
How does it impact your team when Elena Beard plays with the type of energy she had on the offensive end in that third quarter?
Well, again, when AB is playing that way, I mean, so go AB, so goes the Mystics, and we just got to keep the ball in her hands just as they try to keep the ball in Becky's hands.
Coach, thank you so much. Terry?
All right, Rebecca, thank you. And most teams around the league trying to keep it out of the hands of Becky Hammond, especially in the fourth. He talked about the turnovers as well, and he's talked with us about that in the fourth. 14 turnovers, which have led to 19 points today. That's been one of the problems.
I don't care what level of basketball you're talking about, Terry. If you take care of the basketball and you defend well, you will put yourself in a position to win games.
The two post players start the fourth for Dan Hughes. You've got Riley in there and Waters in there. The foul inside, giving it back to Washington.
Well, the Mystics at last graphics at 26 points in the paint for Washington, 20 for San Antonio. Be interesting with this double lineup. Does Tree Rollins' team get more points in the paint, or do Ruth and Ann Waters knock twice in the pipes and refuse to allow that?
Yeah, it's a bit misleading, though, because they can step out and take the outside jumper as well. That was the fourth foul at the other end for Sophia Young, and now Beard pressing the issue, and we'll go to the free throw line.
This, to me, is how you win games in the fourth period. You get yourself, well, not necessarily the Mystics, but you get yourself to the foul line.
Hasn't worked that way for them quite often. Second foul on Morenike at Tunrishe. Beard at the line, a 78% free throw shooter.
Michael Jordan used to say that about winning playoff games in the NBA. Get to the free throw line.
While we have a moment, just to clear up that double foul and the charge block. I grant you, it is the rule that they go if two different officials disagree on it. They go to the jump ball. I understand that. I guess I'll take issue with the rule, not the way the officials handle it.
Yeah, because you believe that one of those two officials is going to feel more strongly about their call.
And have a better angle, better look at it. Tough spot for Becky Hammond, but the foul. And it's on Elena Beard.
when there was a disagreement, the part of the rule, I knew it went to a jump ball. I didn't know that there was an automatic double foul. I almost think it would be, if you're going to keep the rule,
get rid of the fouls.
Get rid of the fouls, exactly.
Ball was tipped. Over and back, the official signaling here right in front of us.
Good slip and good find by Hammond. I mean, that's just what she gives you. Terrific pass.
And by Waters, just the body control down the lane. 18 in the game for Ann Waters. Beard over Riley, who makes it a tougher shot, but that's a 3-ball.
Listen, this is not a pure shooter by any stretch of the imagination, but she has made herself a consistent perimeter threat.
16 in the game for Elena Beard. Waters dishes it this time, blocked away though. Beard starts the break. Here comes Nikki Blue. Tipped away from behind it to Richey. Good hustle.
The pick and roll is a 2-part play, Terry. Watch Ann Waters because it's going to be just a little bit of a slip. And you talked about her body control. It's Becky Hammond setting you the slip right to the rim.
See that little peek? She took a peek down the lane, no one there. That's just basketball IQ. Beard knifes through, somehow gets it to Langhorne. And the elbow from Riley draws some jeers from the crowd.
I like that, though. I'm going to sit on my back. I'm going to make sure you feel me.
Tipped away, Beard with the steal. Races with Busher, who's in place, and the block. Blocking foul on Erin Busher. That's her 3rd.
Terrific call. Ruth Riley is a mild-mannered person, a perfect teammate. But you got to have a little of this in basketball. Like, you're going to come up on me.
She played in Detroit. Come on. How can you not pick that up?
So you're saying that's a learned behavior?
Absolutely. And part of the game.
And part of the game, no question. So this game is as much and maybe more about the mind sometimes. Any game is. Than it is about your physical gifts.
For San Antonio.
Elise Mosby in off the bench for Tree Rollins.
Elise Mosby, number 33, checks in.
Williams Franklin sits down. So does Becky Hammond, just for a brief time, no doubt.
You know, it's not always easy as a scorer to, I think, be patient when you're not getting shots, when teams are committing so much to you, to not force the action. And she's done that beautifully this afternoon, Becky Hammond, just letting the game come to her.
Young operates in the lane. There's the foul. See if Beard picked up her 2nd. And she did.
It's going to be on the 620, Elena Beard, 2nd personal foul on team's
2nd team foul.
You got AB.
And Beard, who scored 13 of the last 15 points for Washington to get them back to a tie score. Phoenix, Los Angeles tonight on NBA TV, 9:30 Eastern out west. Thursday on ESPN2. They go out to Sacramento, the Sparks do, and then next Sunday right back here, Connecticut and Washington. Here comes Monique Curry in for Beard.
You've got to tune into that NBA TV tonight, folks, because Candace Parker, the rookie, and last time we were here in Washington, Terry, we were walking through the building, and there were some people here playing a game, and 2 little boys, I'd say about 8 or 9 years old, they knew LA was in the house. They said, "It's Candace Parker." Yes, Candace. It was great. 2 little 8 and 9-year-old boys
know all about Candace Parker.
How fantastic is that?
Yep. Curry, they call the foul a little bit late. Busher can't believe it. Slap on the, Dan Hughes can't believe it.
Okay, now we were saying, you know, and I'm sure he's going to be here a while. But this is why maybe you question, do I want to coach anymore?
Sure, there are a number of those moments. Ann Waters with her 3rd foul. 4th foul on the Silver Stars here in the 4th. Curry ties it up once again. Now, it is amazing what Candace Parker's been able to do just for the recognition. As we said, going around the league and the huge crowds that they have drawn on the road. And it seemed like they spent about a month and a half away from Staples Center, but now back playing there.
You know what's changing, Terry? You are having more and more women whose games appeal to both genders.
Yep.
Candace Parker's appeal crosses genders. There are men who will say, okay, you know what, I'm going to fork over whatever the price of that ticket is to go see her play.
First lead for Washington since it was 23-22, and looking for more. Here comes Curry. Tipped away, Blue up in the air, nowhere to go. Mosby falling down. Wasn't the way you draw it up. Darling, the change of direction as they swing it.
Oh, she had the right drive at Toomrichet. She had a lane to the rim.
Good defense by the Mystics. With the 1-point lead. Against the pressure, tipped out, and they turn it over. Right through the hands of Langhorne.
That's rare, because as good a hands as Sophia Young has, Langhorne similar hands. Just put it in her vicinity, and she's going to make the catch most times.
Beard locked up with Hammond. San Antonio cold as of late. Trying to free up Becky around the screen. And that's what caught Curry. Trying to reach and get there and body up Becky Hammond along the baseline. Second foul on Curry. But they're doing exactly what Tree Rollins said they had to do and try to keep the ball out of Hammond's hands. Because it starts with her.
Absolutely. And we've seen her both score it and distribute it. As she said, listen, if teams are going to be so focused on winning the battle with me and we're still winning the war, that's okay with me. And you put your best perimeter defender, Elena Beard, on Hammond.
Curry a little bit late, cleared by Beard.
Well, they switched the screen. See, Beard had her, and on the screen switch or the change of floor sides, they made the switch.
Beard tells Miller, go through. I want the two-man game on this side. Working it with Taj. Gets a step on Waters. Can't get the left hand off the glass. Hammond, Miller fell down. She stumbled, and that's all Becky Hammond needed.
Yeah, and she does a terrific job keeping her dribble. And that time just kept her dribble, head up.
San Antonio back into the lead as we go back and forth here in the fourth. Challenge shot again. Nothing easy in the last couple of minutes.
No, both teams very active. Challenging shots, hands in passing lanes, awareness of where the ball is.
Waters slipped that screen and was open momentarily. Young with the miss.
I think Ann Waters is tired. She's slow coming up the floor.
Stripped away, quick hands by Helen Darling, and here they come. Got the numbers, Water trails. Hammond with the English off the glass that you were talking about.
That's it. I mean, it's amazing the spin she gets, the kinds of spaces she gets through.
Becky Hammond with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Scoreless in the first quarter. Coco lost it off her foot. It'll be San Antonio basketball when we come back, Doris.
Well, when Becky Hammond arrived in San Antonio, the talk turned to championship. She changed the mindset, and she changed the skill set. The three-ball, orange and oatmeal, pretty-looking shot. And then this, splits defenders, the English off the window, the adjustment in the air, pretty stuff.
Here in the fourth quarter, Becky Hammond scoring the last 5 points for San Antonio as we check out our game summary presented by Discover Card. Doris?
Well, Becky Hammond has 19 points, yes, but she's also got 5 rebounds and 6 assists. And for as much as the ball is in her hand, she only has 2 turnovers. This time coming off the screen. You can play her at the 1 or the 2, so she can make her own shots if she starts with the basketball, or she can be set up by her teammates. This one, when the defender falls down, just good court awareness, the ability to split defenders, change the body, control her body without picking up charges.
And all of this on a telecast in which we've set the record for use of the word oatmeal. It's going to really come back to haunt you if it's actually orange and tan or beige.
Good thing I'm not on Spalding's payroll.
Here's Darling, controls it to Becky Hammond. Step back, Sanford recovered. Riley, there's a hand in. Young gets it. Tough going in the lane. She'll go to the free throw line. Sanford picks up the foul.
Wow, that was terrific, aggressive defense, and then you bail them out against a tough shot with 6 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Yeah, at that point, you have to know you've played great defense. It's a tough shot. The chances of making it are so slim.
Yep, exactly.
Can't foul.
That's where the mind comes in.
Yeah, discipline. Young, 75% from the line. Tuesday at 8/7 Central. Dirty fun for the whole family. See why Wipeout has become a giant splash hit. Biggest news show of the summer here on ABC. 6-point lead for the Silver Stars. A 7-0 run. Think about their mindset, too. Late in games, they believe they're going to win.
Silver Stars have pulled some out. What you wonder about is Washington's belief.
Curry for 3. And tough going from Monique Curry.
You have to experience some success in these kinds of games to get that feeling that we can win these things.
Earlier this week, San Antonio down 5 with under 40 seconds against Sacramento and somehow figured out a way to win. Young off the glass.
Terrific execution. Just very, very good. And you know what you like most about Sophia Young? Rebecca's talked about her improvements and how she's added to her arsenal. I like her mindset, Terry. She seems to want those shots.
Beard over Busher. That's a 3.
That's a player you know who wants the shots. And since she arrived as a freshman at Duke so many years ago, has taken those shots.
And can heat up in a hurry. Darling. Walked away by Curry. 13 on the shot clock.
Now, what you have not seen of late is the twin tower lineup for Dan Hughes. You've not seen Waters and Riley on the floor together, and it might have to do with the matchups right now. Washington a little bit smaller.
Early on in the 4th, we saw that, but not since. Hammond around the screen of Riley, maybe too much time. Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, you think about it, it becomes a tough shot.
It was almost like she had happy feet. Look at her, she's smiling. It's so unusual not to see her ready.
She's looking around saying, where is everyone?
She just looking over at us and started laughing.
4 of 9 from beyond the arc. Smith. Around Hammond. Curry went over the back of Darling, who looked for the foul, didn't get it, and then the foul's going to go against the Silver Stars.
And she's annoyed. I mean, Helen Darling is talking to the officials. She's like, come on, I'm checking out somebody who's got 6 inches on me. If I do the right thing, make the call.
Riley picked up the foul, her 3rd.
Yeah, she's going over there. You got to make that call, please.
Yeah, three of the players right now talking to officials saying, over the back? That wasn't over the back? Smith, smooth.
This is the mother of triplets, Helen Darling, so she's had moments of frustration, I'm sure.
Yeah, much more than on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Smith gets the roll at the free throw line. Here's the full court pressure, which has been effective at times, and is this time. Jump ball. Washington the edge, too.
No, Becky Hammond never hesitates to shoot, especially when she's this wide open. For whatever reason, her feet weren't quite prepared, but she doesn't panic, just pull the trigger and, oh yeah, boom.
Thinking, what about my backyard? No one's even near me here. Great crew out west from Phoenix. Back here in the east, though, next week, Connecticut, they just keep rolling. They make all those moves, and once again, leading the way. Taking on the Mystics right here. You'll be here.
Yes, looking forward to it. Consistent excellence from the Connecticut Sun since Mike Tebow took over that franchise. And great management group in Connecticut. It's amazing, you know, you switch a roster, but Asia Jones becomes a different human being. Breakout year last year, just looks as comfortable with her skills as you've ever seen her.
6-point lead for San Antonio. Most of it done by 3 players. Becky Hammond with 22, Sophia Young 18, and Ann Waters with 18.
58 of the 72 points from that triumvirate. And back to the zone for San Antonio? No.
Beard around. Now we get a whistle away from the ball. And they'll talk things over. And and they'll just put it back in play.
We have no idea what that stoppage was about.
18 on the shot clock, though. Here comes Beard. Young trying to match up. Waters on the switch. She's got the edge in terms of quickness, but the shot changed. That was a tough one. Never hit the rim, so shot clock at 4. Langhorne to the left hand.
How about that? Rookie getting more and more comfortable. That's undersized, just using her length and position to tip that basketball. Terrific play by the rookies, tearing it up with 13.
13.7 rebounds for the rookie from Maryland, a career high. She just tied it. High-low, Young surrounded, gets it off the glass, she'll go to the line. McWilliams-Franklin's got to be careful. Right in the face of one of the officials.
Sportsmanship. You've got Langhorne on the dribble drive. San Antonio making the first shot tough, but they're not completing the job by rebounding. So Langhorne, offensive rebounding positioning, and then look at this. Just go to the rim with purpose. I'll tell you what, if you have athleticism and savvy, you can be Sophia Young and Langhorne, who are undersized and effective.
Third foul on Taj. And Young over the 20-point mark. The 8th time this season Sophia has gone over 20 points plus.
Wow, that's consistently excellent.
Beard. No call on the contact, knocked out with 7 on the clock. Ouch.
A lot of contact.
A little bit low to take the charge.
I agree, and it's why I wouldn't mind seeing this everywhere in college basketball. That dotted line.
The circle? Half circle?
Yeah.
Shot clock running out. Curry's just got to throw it up there. McWilliams-Franklin, and 1.
See what I'm saying about not finishing the sequence? You are guarding hard. You're forcing tough shots. But defense is about finishing the play. And look at the offensive rebounding work by Taj McWilliams-Franklin. How many times have we seen the Mystics do that here in the 4th period?
It's a double-edged sword, though, as you know. It's very difficult to pressure the basketball, extend the defense, scramble, and then be in a position to block out.
That's exactly right. It's exactly what Dan Hughes told. I said, what are the rebounding woes a product of? He said, we sell out so hard on contesting shots that sometimes we're not in rebounding positioning. Woo! I thought they were passing it to you.
You were ready.
It couldn't have been to me. It had to be to you.
Actually, you ducked behind me. You don't want to shoot, do you? Hammond, left alone along the base. Got right around Curry, and Taj a little late getting out.
Tough shot. She just got the whole package. A mid-range.
24 in the game for Becky. Shut out in the first quarter. Langhorne the extra step to the left hand in the lane.
Boy, a little playing time, a little success, and the confidence grows before your eyes.
4-point game, and they're scrambling on the defensive end as we hit the minute mark.
You got to start making some stops, some traps, steal up.
Almost got it. Beard on the reach behind. Elena caught on Waters, who wants the ball down on the block. There she is. Mismatch. Waters, no. Rebound tipped up. And Hammond will get things under control.
Yeah, see, now I think you got a foul. I'd be trying to lengthen this. I understand it's only 2 possessions. I'd want a foul.
Unfortunately, the ball's in the hands of a 95% free throw shooter.
I'm always, and you played for the guy who I think maybe used this strategy more than anyone initially, is Jim Valvano. And I like that philosophy of lengthening the game, getting as many possessions as I can, and make them beat me at the free throw line.
There were times when the score would be tied when he would foul.
Wow.
Just to get the ball, you make free throws down the stretch. You believe that most teams don't.
Well, and I say this to you. Coach Oriema of Connecticut will say, you know, I'll give up jump shots, especially when you get to the Final Four, because it's so much harder to make free throws and jump shots with the game on the line and the pressure shots. It's an interesting philosophy.
Season high 26 for Becky Hammond. So it's a 6-point lead with 33.5 left, and Tree Rollins again with the team in position to win in the 4th quarter, but it's been a struggle getting it done. And at some point, you got to find a way. I don't know how it is to make your team believe you are going to win, though. San Antonio with that half-game lead in the West. Things are bunched at the top over Los Angeles and Seattle. Dan Hughes' club, he was quick to point out, look, we've lost some close ones in the fourth quarter as well, but right now, coming off that big win late against Sacramento, his team, Becky Hammond leading the way, Sophia Young hitting big shots, they think they can steal every one of those.
One of the big words Dan Hughes kept saying to us in the pregame conversation we had with him was trust. WNBA season does not allow for a ton of practice times. You have to prepare your teams in different ways. That might be with film work. It might be just getting them off their feet and doing a little bit of walkthrough at a hotel. It's a unique league. It's a unique schedule. You're compacted. It's over several months. And trust. He trusts his team's ability. Feels like he's never out of a game. And why not? They've proven it.
In those ways, it's a much more difficult assignment, coaching in the WNBA, than it is in the NBA. Because in the NBA, you've got guys in the offseason who are spending time around. You've got 82 games. You've got practices. It's a long haul. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But a WNBA coach has to take players who have been playing elsewhere the entire offseason and get them to gel without being together that whole time.
Well, your training camp, 9 times out of 10, you are talking about players joining you a day or two, maybe 3 or 4 at the most, before your games start.
Right.
And a coach will tell you, and most coaches will tell you, coaching's in the blood. You either live for this game as a coach or you don't. One of their favorite things is practice time.
Right.
You know, get me in the gym, let me get my team better. Tree and Dan do not have a ton of that.
2-possession game. Langhorne's had a big second half. Smith can't burn up too much time. Beard off balance, out of bounds. San Antonio basketball.
It's out of bounds. San Antonio ball. It's timeout for the Silver Stars.
So Dan Hughes with the platoon. He's going to bring Hammond back in now that they go to the offensive end and talk things over first.
Now, Becky Hammond, we showed you a moment ago, her scoring by quarters. She was shut out. The donut in the first half. Well, guess what? Started to get busy. 7 points in the second, 7 in the third, and just lighting it up here. And again, Terry, it's the package. What do you take away? If you take away her three, she's going to get around the rim. She's going to use her English. If you do not do a solid job coming off of screens, and surprise, surprise, it's Ruth Riley setting her up with a solid screen for a jump shot.
All right, let's get the seams right. Let's get our feet right. Let's see the brand of the ball, right? And make it look nice on TV. She had all the time to do that under 3. Neither team with a full timeout left, each with a 20, and neither with a foul to give here. So the numbers on Hammond, season high 26, but the story goes way beyond that. Hammond and Sophia Young have scored the last 20 points for San Antonio.
Wow. And Stevie LeBeau, our stat guy, incredible job yet again today.
He says it, it comes up on the screen. And Young gets loose. That was way too easy.
That'll do it.
The lead is 8. Beard, Curry. Tree saying you got to go. Langhorne does. 10.3 left in the game. And a quick 20 timeout.
You know, before we get off the air, we are exactly 3 weeks away from the All-Star break, and the WNBA announced yesterday, I believe, that Robin Roberts will be this year's WNBA Inspiration Award winner. And for any woman in the business of television, Robin Roberts has been sort of a guiding light. The consummate professional, always prepared, started her career in sports journalism, now the co-anchor of Good Morning America. So congratulations to Robin, another terrific choice by the WNBA. And no All-Star game this year, Terry, so that awards luncheon just prior to the end of July, sending off the Olympics team. Congratulations to Robin.
And on a personal level, there's nobody better than Robin.
Nah, I mean, she's the best. I worked with Robin. I feel blessed to have been alongside her a couple of times, Terry. She's just the consummate pro, terrifically talented woman. I know I have a daughter, and I've often said to her, if you're Robin Roberts, if you're that hardworking and that kind of person, you're going to do well for yourself.
Yep.
So.
Third foul on Curry, sending Becky Hammond to the line. Now, that's the other thing. You come down the last couple of possessions. Whose hands did San Antonio get the ball into? Becky Hammond.
That's right. She doesn't miss. It's just automatic. 90% in over 4 seasons from the free throw line. For a woman who takes a lot of free throws, 90%.
Yeah, it's not like she's a three-point shooter and rarely goes to the line. Washington unable to get a shot off on the last possession. So San Antonio with the win on the road. Dan Hughes' club now has won 4 straight, 9 of the last 11 games. And they started the game with a half-game lead over Los Angeles and Seattle in the West, so they won't lose ground there. Hammond with 28 points in the game, a season high. Sophia Young 23 and Waters with 18, and it really was Waters along with Riley in the first half who got things going and made the comeback.
You know what, Terry, you just talked about 3 terrific scores, Hammond, Young, and Waters. But let's not forget the role players. You've got to have stars, but you also have to have role players. I thought Darling gave them good minutes. Edwige Lawson gave them great minutes. You mentioned the contributions of Ruth Riley. Erin Busher very quietly contributing. It's not just about the star power. It's about what pieces are around the stars.
Yeah, remember Vicky Johnson not even here today, so not part of the lineup. And San Antonio able to do just about everything they wanted to do this, especially in the fourth quarter. As we send it over to Rebecca right now.
Terry joined by Sophia Young. Sophia, you're only up 4 at the end of the third quarter. What were the keys to pulling out this victory?
Well, the game became really physical, and it was a matter of just like bucking down and just play through the physicalness and just play through everything. And I think that's what our team did.
The first half, your bigs got it done. In the second half, Becky really came alive offensively. How difficult is your team to defend when you have so many options and working?
Well, it's always difficult when you can play inside out. And like you said, we were getting it really well on the inside first, and then Becky started knocking on some shots. So that's really tough. But I think whenever a team can play inside out, it's always tough to guard. And I think we are becoming a better team because we can do that.
How do things change for you on the court when you're with the big lineup with Ann Waters and Ruth Riley?
Oh, it changed a lot because I got to guard a perimeter player, and I'm not used to that. It's a lot of running, and so I get really tired most of the time. But it's a different kind of defense, and I don't have to change my mentality on offense as well.
All right, Sophia, thank you. Terry?
Rebecca Sophia Young with a big game, and also Ann Waters and Becky Hammond, of course. First quarter, as Becky joins us right now, as you can see. What were you thinking in that first quarter when you had a big goose egg and sitting on the bench?
You know, just be patient. They were giving me a lot of attention, and coming off pick and rolls, I just wanted them to start making them pay for giving me so much attention. So just staying patient and just waiting for my spots. You know, and they did a good job of, you know, we got them into some slipping action where we were able to get some layups and good looks for our post players. So when we get everybody involved, we're pretty tough team.
You were turning into the Twin Tower lineup there with Ruth Riley and Ann Waters for much of the first half.
Yeah, well, you know, rebounding is always an emphasis for us. When we rebound well, you know, we're pretty tough to beat, and you know, that gives us a bigger lineup. Hopefully, we rebound better with that lineup in and contest shots better. So we got a lot of different looks. The way coaches made the team, we can go real small and we can go real big. So it's kind of nice and comfortable for him to be able to switch things up.
We talked at length with Dan before the game, Becky, about how this team was put together, and just from a chemistry standpoint, you've been around the league a long time. How important is it for you guys to sort of be as selfless as you are and be as committed to the defensive end as you are?
Well, we're certainly committed to one another, and I just want to say our hearts and our prayers are with VJ, and we got this one for you, girl, and you know, she's part of our family. So when somebody goes out like that, you just want to pick up the slack, and so we really wanted to get this one for VJ, actually.
Vicky Johnson, if you weren't with us earlier, her grandmother passed away earlier this week. The wake was on Friday, and so she is not here. Big part of this club throughout the year, and an impressive win in part because of that, her not being on the floor today with you guys. All right, I want to take you to the strangest moment for me watching you play. The three-pointer at this end, where no one was in the same area code as you. You had time to check out the laces and the leather and everything else.
Yeah, I didn't get a clean catch, and I looked up. Nobody was there, so I just continued to rotate the ball until I got a nice, good feel with it. I don't get a lot of those looks, so that was nice.
Yeah, in fact, you think a little too much sometimes as a shooter when you're left that wide open.
Yeah, that's right. Most of the time they have somebody running, but nobody was even running at me, so I had all the time in the world.
Hey, you've got 2 players. Helen Darling, I thought, was terrific. Toon Richey's got a terrific upside. When you look at the complementary pieces on this team, when Dan put it together, Toon Richey and Darling, what did they give you?
Well, Helen, obviously, defensively, she brings so much. I think she's kind of an unsung hero on this team. She does all the dirty work for us and gets no recognition. And so she's down there digging. I mean, we love the way she plays and the energy and her defensive. I mean, she's absolutely committed to the defensive end, so she helps us a lot in able to run.
When you win games like this in the fourth quarter, tough games on the road, when you win games like you did the other night with Sacramento, stealing it basically, being down 4 with, what, 40 seconds, you got to believe you can win any game.
Well, this team, I think you have a lot of individuals that know how to persevere. Been through the fire. We've been around a long time, and we know that games have ebb and flow. So, you know, you just play through it and hope you give yourself a chance to win it at the end.
28 points, season high today, and a win on the road.
Congratulations.
Thanks for coming by. Becky Hammond. Yeah, there's that shot right there. She had all the time in the world to take a look and buried it. 83-75, your